This is the Alienware AW15R3. It's a laptop built for gamers with my model featuring an Intel Core i7-7700HQ, 16GB of RAM, a 128GB M2 SSD, a 1TB spinning hard drive, and an NVIDIA GTX 1070 to process the graphics and display them on a 1080p IPS panel with G-Sync at 60Hz. This laptop clearly has the specs to power through any game, but how does the laptop stand overall? Here's my review. Let's start with the build quality of the laptop. This thing is built like a tank. It's one of the most solid pieces of hardware that I've used in a long time. The computer is made out of aluminum and soft but strong plastic. As you would imagine, the laptop shows little flex and has no creaking or rattling to be heard. All of this comes at a cost, however. The Alienware 15 is thick and heavy, which shouldn't be a surprise to anyone who's looking for a gaming computer. Aesthetically, the Alienware 15, in my opinion, also looks great. I think the RGB lighting looks cool, and when it's disabled, it can be hard to tell that this is a gaming laptop. Personally, I thought I would be customizing it way more than I have been. Instead, I just set it to the colors I like and haven't changed it since. When the lighting effects are disabled, this laptop can be used at work or school without drawing much attention, though I'm not sure I would want to carry a laptop this heavy around my college campus. I also like the ports placement being on the back of the laptop. I think it makes the ability to have a clean cable management easier and makes any gaming setup less cluttered. I think Dell took this design choice from their business laptops, and I'm happy they did. The keyboard and trackpad are sort of a mixed bag for me. I love the keyboard in general. Don't let the traditional style keys fool you. This is one of the most comfortable keyboards I've ever typed on. The keys have good travel and are enjoyable to type on. I would take this keyboard over an island style keyboard any day. The macro keys on the left side have been throwing me off a little bit. It required some time to get used to the fact that they were there. For example, I would often press the macro key instead of the control key when I wanted to quickly do something like Control C to copy something into the clipboard. Another thing about this keyboard that I think could be improved is the grooves on the F and J key as well as the S key for gaming. I think the grooves on these keys are too subtle and sometimes hard to notice, which can make finding these keys difficult. The trackpad, in my opinion, is okay. It tracks well, but it's a little too small for my taste. The buttons below the trackpad are easy to distinguish between left and right click and easy to press. The trackpad also lights up, which is cool. I think most people, myself included, won't care too much about the trackpad since they'll most likely be having a mouse plugged in while gaming. The palm rest area is nice. It's soft and comfortable and doesn't have anything underneath it that will get warm when the laptop is working hard. It does, however, show the oil from your hands pretty easily, so I'd recommend wiping it off every once in a while to keep it looking nice. The speakers on the Alienware AW15R3 are underneath the keyboard and sound pretty good. They have a weird effect of making it hard to tell where the sound is actually coming from. It sounds like the audio is coming from all around you. They get very loud, but the actual audio quality is only average compared to previous computers I've owned. The display is great. It's 1080p, which I think is the best choice for gamers as opposed to the 4K option. Mine is the IPS panel with a matte finish with G-Sync at 60Hz. There is a TN panel option with G-Sync at 120Hz, which might be a good choice for gamers who are considering getting the Alienware graphics amplifier to fully take advantage of the 120 frames per second potential. Battery life, if anyone cares, will get you between 2.5 and 3.5 hours of normal use or 1 to 1.5 hours of gaming, so I've heard. I haven't actually tested this to get my own measurements since I know it won't make much of a difference to anyone looking to buy this laptop. It really is a computer that will be plugged in 90% of the time it's being used. Here are some of the other quick notes I have about the computer. It has Tobii eye tracking, but I never used it and I doubt anyone else will too. The killer 1435 Wi-Fi card does a good job of maintaining a strong signal, meaning minimal lag during online gaming. Back to those macro keys, they're user programmable, but I haven't used them much at all, but they are there if you would like to use them. And my last quick note is that the port selection is adequate for me. It has a good mix of modern connections as well as older style ports. As mentioned before, the computer has the Intel Core i7-7700HQ processor, which, at the time of recording this video, is the latest generation of processors from Intel. The i7 is paired with NVIDIA's GTX 1070, and the combination of these two processing units means it can handle pretty much anything you throw at it. From gaming to video and photo editing, this computer will have no problems. The SSD also makes the entire OS feel snappy and responsive. and 16 gigabytes of RAM means you can multitask without any slowdown. I don't have many frame rate measurements, but I'll give you what I have. Running at 1080p with NVIDIA's recommended graphics settings, which is basically maxed out for every game, Forza Horizon 3 is able to get between 80 and 95 frames per second. Battlefield 1 will be about 105 on Ultra or 120 on high settings, and GTA 5 will be between 65 and 80 depending on the scene. I connected this laptop to a 4K TV and was able to get about 40 to 45 frames per second playing Forza Horizon 3, but had to turn down the graphics details to get a decent frame rate for Battlefield 1. So basically 1080p is no problem for the GTX 1070, but you'll need to make compromises to play at 4K. If you want that extra power, you could get the Alienware graphics amplifier, which would allow you to put your own GPU in for even better gameplay. This alone makes the Alienware line of laptops appealing to people who plan on keeping their laptop for many years. During heavy load, this laptop's fans get pretty loud. The speakers are loud enough to overpower the fans, but I suspect most people will be wearing headphones anyway. As far as value goes, the Alienware AW15R3 price falls slightly above the competition when comparing computers spec to spec, but with the Alienware 15, you're getting a rock-solid build, an honestly very nice-looking laptop, and the peace of mind knowing that you can easily upgrade the graphics processor down the road using the Alienware graphics amplifier. With all that said, I can easily recommend the Alienware AW15R3 to anyone looking for a well-built, high-end, somewhat future-proof gaming computer which is able to handle any task you throw at it. That's all for this review. If you have any additional thoughts or questions on the Alienware AW15R3, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.